Right now at 5, local firefighters respond to a vehicle collision call right at their own station. Plus, we've got a warm and windy day ahead of big changes in our forecast. We're going to take a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up. Plus, the Salvation is a new facility in Miami. We'll see how that will benefit the community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5 a.m. in about 42 seconds. I'm Chris Warner. Thank you so much for waking up with us today. It is breezy. Those winds really started to pick up yesterday and overnight, and it is warm. It was 70-something degrees on my drive in here this morning. Now, temperatures will fall back eventually to our overnight lows, and then they're going to warm up again before they tumble about 50 degrees out there. We're talking some big changes. The good news is, and we'll talk about all this later in a full forecast, is the cold spell doesn't last very long, but it is going to get very cold. Let's take a quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin, and it is breezy. You saw it at the beginning of the show, shaking in the wind there quite a bit. Sometimes it gets a little frozen. There it goes, see, and you can see the flags blowing. You can see the shaking from the camera. We've already got those gusty winds, and they are going to get even stronger as we go through today. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, looking good, and the KDOT cameras back online. Very excited to see that this morning. This is the one at Kansas Crossing looking back to the north along 69, also looking pretty good so far this morning. It is 69 in Joplin, 55 in Pittsburgh, so a bit of a temperature disparity there, but we're all going to be warming up quite nicely before we all get quite cold once again. Kids getting on the bus, again, these are about average, 59, mostly clear skies, southwest breeze 10 to 15, gusting upwards of 20 to 5. And by the time that bus brings them home, look at that, 81 degrees. This is like May, and we're not even in March yet. Mostly cloudy, breezy. Those southwest winds sustained at 20 to 30 with gusts to 45. Some of us could even see gusts upwards of 50. And we do have red flag warnings and wind advisories across the entire area. So absolutely no outdoor burning. That is the last thing you need to be doing today. No outdoor burning. Don't throw your cigarette out the car window, anything like that, because it's still very dry out there. So again, we'll have those mostly cloudy skies. We'll see breaks here and there, temperatures into the upper 70s, low 80s, and we'll start to see some shower chances as we head into the evening hours out there. So the good news is there's no severe weather. The bad news is these are going to be very isolated to widely scattered at best with those rain chances. And as I mentioned, we'll have another full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Now to our top stories this morning. The state of Kansas now officially has a severe weather preparedness week. Governor Laura Kelly last week signed a proclamation designating the week of March 4th through March 8th as Severe Weather Preparedness Week in the state. As part of the week's activities, there will be a statewide tornado safety drill on March 6th at 11 a.m. Officials also encourage people to use the week to prepare an emergency kit and plan so all members of your household are ready for when severe weather strikes. And staff on duty at the Independence Fire EMS building went into action when a pickup truck crashed into the back of the station. Firefighters heard what sounded like an explosion and saw a dumpster fly into the air before striking a canopy roof and falling to the ground. Emergency workers managed to free a person who was trapped in the truck. That person was taken by helicopter to the hospital. Police are investigating the cause of the crash. And Nevada firefighters responded to a fire Monday afternoon. The fire was located north of the Vernon County Square in the 200 block of East Locust. Firefighters were able to contain the fast-moving blaze. A garage with a car was destroyed. Then an adjoining residence suffered extensive damage. Another residence had siding melt due to the intense heat. Nevada Fire Chief Troy Denny says no one was injured and they are still investigating the cause of the fire. The Red Cross has also responded to assist the residents displaced by the fire. The Missouri Department of Conservation wants to remind hunters and anglers now is the time to renew their hunting and fishing licenses, and Missourians can do it online. Related annual permits expire at the end of February, including 2023 permits for small game fishing, trout fishing, and combination hunting and fishing. For more information on how to renew your license, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick today released a follow-up report for the city of Purcell. It finds the city is still working to implement many of the recommendations made by a 2022 audit that gave the municipality a rating of poor. The original report was initiated by a citizen petition and led to the former mayor pro tem being charged with stealing after uncovering more than $3,200 in missing or misappropriated money. Follow-up report looks at 19 of the recommendations made in the original audit and finds the city has fully implemented only 4 of them. The Kansas City Capitol yesterday hosted the JAG-K Senior Days event. JAG-K stands for Jobs for America's Graduates Kansas. More than 130 Kansas students attended the event to learn more about the governmental process. They also served as a way for students to meet with legislators from their respective areas. The event also gave students the opportunity to tour the campuses of Washburn University and Washburn Tech. Salvation Army of Ottawa County Service Center is moving into a new space that fits all of their services. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
The Salvation Army of Ottawa County moved from Steve Owens Boulevard to 1915 North Main Street in Miami. At first glance, it may look just like a thrift store, but it is much more.
As we're sitting here, people are ready to come in and come shop them, and then we have to let them know that we're actually not a Salvation Army thrift store. We're actually more like a resource hub with our food pantry and our clothing and our social services.
After filling out an application, clothing is free to those in need. Access to the food pantry is based on income, and social services are needs-based.
It is a few hundred square feet larger. It houses all 3 of our services. So we have social services, we have a clothing, shopping experience that's free for people, and we also have a food pantry.
With the new space, they're able to fit 3 services in one building, which makes it a lot more accessible for the community, especially for those who struggle with transportation.
A lot of people do not have transportation, so they are able to come here and to access all of the services at one place.
The help of the volunteers made the moving and reorganizing smooth. However, the center is still looking for more volunteers to stay open more than 2 days a week.
And people often wonder, I say, I can't retire because I won't have anything to do. There are so many places that you can volunteer and help. It is a blessing to be able to volunteer.
Be able to serve here, the stories of what you would hear that come out of here there's a lot of miracles that happen here.
Reporting in Miami, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The Salvation Army of Ottawa County Service Center is currently open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to noon. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the playoffs are here for high school basketball in Southeast Kansas. We'll have the details. Plus, the week-long massive cigar festival kicks off in Cuba on Monday. And it's going to be breezy. It's going to be May-like out there before big changes roll in. We'll have another look at that forecast a little later. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Higher 6 months, plus $1,500 bonus cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Well, the playoffs are here for high school basketball in Southeast Kansas. Last night began our coverage of Sub-State with a quarterfinal between Baxter Springs and Frontenac. Sub-State tournament begins in Frontenac. 6th seed Baxter Springs trying to upset the 3rd-seeded Raiders. And the Lions, they're going to start fast. Gage Maggard zips a pass to Jacob Grant, who rises for the two-handed slam. Baxter leads by 1 after the first quarter. Frontenac starts to gel in the second, though. Right before halftime, Trey Kramer pulls the trigger from beyond the arc and connects. The Raiders take a 10-point lead into the break. Second half, more of the same. Off an offensive rebound, Vinny Collier open from the left wing. He connects for 3. Raiders up 14. Next possession, Collier same spot on the floor, same result. Give him 3 more. Possession after that, Trey Kramer. Why not go for the bank shot from 3? It's going to be all smiles for the home team last night in Frontenac, 53-34. Raiders advance to the Sub-State semifinals, where they'll face Riverton on Thursday. Switching gears from the hardwood to the rubber floor, Pittsburgh State Track and Field competed against all of its conference foes at the MIAA Indoor Championships in Washburn this weekend, and the Gorillas take home 2 team conference titles. We're going to start on the women's side. The Gorillas track and field team wins the 2024 indoor conference title. It's the 8th time in the last 9 years they've done so. PSU has 5 individual champions and sets 3 new conference records along the way. The men's team, just as successful. Pittsburgh State Men's Track and Field, your 2024 MIAA Indoor Champion. That's the 4th year in a row and 8th time in the last 10 years that they've won it. Gorillas set a new record for team points and have 5 individual champs. And over the weekend, the high school wrestling season in Missouri and Kansas also comes to a close. We told you all of last week that the 4 states would be well represented in the state finals, and several of our local athletes taking home state championships. From Kansas and Missouri, 7 wrestlers finished the year as state champions. Fairth Jones from Cassville, as well as Isabella Refro and Andrew Manley from Seneca, our state champs. Then in Kansas, we have 4 state champs, all of them girls in Class 4-1A. Harper Holmes, part of the first 3 Lady Raiders to make state, wins the state title at 105 pounds. Kidda Miles from Fort Scott is the 110-pound state champ. Then Reese Clements and Kylie Dillo, high school teammates at Chanute, also state champs at 135 and 170. Over to college basketball, one of the Big 12 teams from the Sunflower State were back at home last night. Kansas State men's basketball wins a nail-biter, 94-90 in overtime. The Wildcats led West Virginia by 22 at half, but got outscored 53-31 in the second to force the extra session. KSU adds to its unbelievable overtime resume under head coach Jerome Tang. This is his 2nd season with the Wildcats, and he's never lost an overtime game. He's 12-0. Still to come, we're going to see why the number of young people requiring prescriptions for depression is skyrocketing. Plus, we're having another check of that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Get hot savings during Reddick's Furniture and Flooring's President's Day event.
It's our ministry. So what are you waiting for? Come see us at Wayside Furniture, North Main and Fountain Road, Joplin.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 on this Tuesday morning. This is a live look from our camera downtown Joplin on the Cornell Complex. The flags are blowing in the breeze, the camera is shaking in the breeze, and it's going to really be rocking as we head into the afternoon as winds increase across the area. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking fairly good as well this morning. And as I mentioned earlier, the KDOT camera's back online, and I love seeing them. This is the one at 69 East 520th Avenue, looking back to the north, also looking pretty good. Now, we've had pretty windy days. These cameras from KDOT are mounted on pretty sturdy poles out there. Same with the MoDOT cameras on the traffic signal. So when they start swaying, that's how you know it's really windy out there. Red flag warnings across the region for Missouri and parts of Kansas until 9. Everybody else until 8 this evening. So again, absolutely no outdoor burning. Then we have wind advisories, again, for parts of southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri. They're until 9 tonight. Everybody else, they run until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning because we can see those winds gusting 40, 45, and the further west you go, potentially upwards of 50 miles an hour. So here's a look at those wind gusts as we head through the afternoon. Here you can see the front, and the problem is sometimes we get a frontal passage, we get calmer winds on the backside of it. Not going to be the case with this one. Winds shift out of the north overnight, and they are continuing to gust upwards of 30. It won't be until tomorrow afternoon that those gusty winds will start to let go of us. So it also means as temperatures fall tomorrow or overnight tonight, those wind chills are going to fall back pretty far as well. Teens, 20s, 30s as we head into our Wednesday. So be prepared for that. And it is hard to believe we are talking about 30. So here we go into the afternoon. Look at those temperatures, 80s. Here's that front. And we could see some showers along and ahead of that front. And we might get a stray rumble of thunder or two. But in all honesty, we're looking at just mainly showers. And as you can see, they will be isolated to widely scattered at best. And as temperatures fall overnight, we could see a couple of stray snow showers out there. But again, we're not really anticipating much in the way of accumulations. But look at that 50-degree temperature drop out there, back into the 30s and 20s as we head into tomorrow morning. Outside right now, it's not bad. 69 in Joplin. Southwest breeze at 16, gusting upwards of 30. Temperatures around the region a little cooler to the north. We got 49 in Iola, but elsewhere we are in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Look at Miami, Grove, Jay, Anderson into the low 70s at 519 on a February morning. Very warm temperatures out there, way above average. We're about 30 degrees, 40 degrees above average. We're going to be mostly cloudy again today, into the low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. And we'll see patches of sunshine, kind of like what we saw yesterday, kind of like what we're seeing now. We've got some clear skies. We're going to have those openings in the clouds here and there. But otherwise, we're going to see a little more clouds and a little less sunshine. That doesn't stop us from going into the upper 70s, low 80s. Ignore how intense this looks. That is the only rain, snow graphic that they have. It looks like it's a blizzard and heavy rain. I assure you that's not what we're expecting. It's the only rain snow thing they have. But we could see, again, showers through the evening. Now, I want to remind folks, because the front's going to roll through at different stages tonight, of course. So this is ahead of the front. Some of you, as we hit 7, 8 o'clock, you'll start falling back into the 40s a little earlier. But this is the trend you can expect as the front rolls through. And we're eventually, again, going to make it into the upper 20s out there with that rain, snow kind of combination very early tomorrow morning, late tonight. Low 40s tomorrow, so that's actually below average. Average for us on Thursday, maybe a stray shower or two in the evening. And then take a look, we're back into the upper 70s, pushing close to 80 by Sunday. And we're watching another system with some thunderstorms and some rain chances as we go Sunday into Monday. That one does cool us back again, but not as significantly as this system's going to do. And we'll hover back into the upper 50s and low 60s. Let's check your forecast. We've got Health Watch right after this.
This is prize money.
And mail it in.
Join us to send veterans to Washington, D.C. and treat them like the heroes that they are.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the number of young people requiring prescriptions for depression or anxiety skyrocketed since the pandemic. According to a new study in the journal Pediatrics, the number of people ages 12 to 25 was already growing. But since COVID, the dispensing rate rose almost 64% more than normal and more than 130% for young women. Experts say while the rise in numbers is alarming, antidepressants can be life-saving. They say to look at your child for signs of behavior and mood changes, such as with their sleep, social life, attitude, school performance, ability to concentrate, or interest in activities, and to always consult your doctor. New data shows a surprising trend among U.S. smokers. They're turning from cigarettes to smoke-free alternatives like vapes at a faster than expected rate. According to the maker of Marlboro, cigarettes' share of the U.S. nicotine industry fell to 60% last year. That's down from 80% just 5 years earlier. If that trend continues, it will only take 3 more years for cigarettes to make up less than half of the nation's nicotine sales. This comes amid a growing number of nicotine alternatives, including oral nicotine pouches and illicit disposable vapes, which were the fastest growing nicotine products in the U.S. last year. Other reasons for the decline in cigarette sales: higher prices and reduced shelf space for cigarettes as retailers make room for all of these smoke-free alternatives. And a new study links air pollution to signs of Alzheimer's disease. According to the study, people who inhale higher concentrations of small airborne particles, such as exhaust from vehicles, are more likely to have signs of the disease in their brains. The research also found a strong link between pollution and signs of Alzheimer's for people who were not already genetically predisposed to the disease. The study was done using tissue from more than 200 donors in the Atlanta area who had volunteered to donate their brains to research before their deaths. Donors who lived in areas with high levels of traffic-related air pollution had more Alzheimer's-related plaques in their brains than donors who lived in areas with lower air pollution. This is just the latest in a growing body of research showing a connection between air quality and cognitive decline. There's a measles dilemma health officials group described in a statement Monday. The disease, declared eliminated in the U.S. in 2000, is still the most easily transmitted human virus in circulation today. You see the impact unfolding in Florida, as Emily Schmidt reports.
A warning about the dangers of measles. A nonprofit group representing state health officials is expressing alarm about outbreaks in the U.S., urging parents and children to get vaccinated. 2 more cases of measles in children have been identified in Broward County, Florida, bringing the total to 8. It's unclear if the newest cases are linked to an outbreak at Manatee Bay Elementary School in Weston.
We're doing everything possible here at the school with cleaning and changing air filters.
We're keeping parents informed as much as possible.
In a letter sent to parents, Florida's Surgeon General said it was, quote, normally recommended for people exposed to the virus who aren't vaccinated to stay home up to 21 days. But ultimately, he said the decision about sending kids to school lies with parents.
We got the first message in the morning before school started, and it just let us know the situation if we wanted to keep our kids home until there was more information.
But the letter from the Surgeon General contradicts CDC quarantine guidance for the disease, which it warns is so contagious that 90% of unvaccinated people who come into close contact to someone with the virus will also get it. Medical experts recommend children get the measles, mumps, and rubella, or MMR vaccine, in 2 doses, the first between 12 and 15 months of age, a second between the ages of 4 and 6. It's about 97% effective after 2 doses. The CDC says about 92% of children received the MMR vaccine by age 2, below the federal target of 95%. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, and we are watching a 50-degree drop in temperatures today. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what's going to happen. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Your fault should give us a call right now. We have live agents available to answer any questions you have. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. You heard it, folks. Call now.
Right now at 5:30, Pitt State yesterday handed out a first-of-its-kind degree from a university in Kansas. And we've got a breezy start out there this morning. It's going to get windier. It's going to get warmer before it gets a lot colder. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up. Plus, a Fort Scott High School yesterday hosted its academic technology and fine arts showcase.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:31 on the dot. I'm Chris Warner. Thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. It is a beautiful day in the 4 states. If you're waking up, you're probably going outside. For some of us, it's relatively warm this morning. You're thinking it's May. You're probably thinking, I went down for a nap yesterday. It was February, and now it's May. Don't worry. You didn't sleep that long, although I'm sure some of us probably could. It is still February. It just does not feel like it at all out there, nor is it going to today. But by golly, it will feel like February by the time we hit the overnight hours tonight. Let's take a look outside. This is the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line in Joplin. Looking fantastic out there so far, back to the west. And as I mentioned earlier, just the most thrilling part of my day, because I didn't want you folks in Kansas to think we were intentionally ignoring you. It's just the KDOT cameras had been down for a little bit, but as you can see, they are back. And this is the one at Kansas Crossing at that intersection, looking back north along 69. And we're looking pretty good so far this morning. Quick look outside. We are sitting at 69 in Joplin, 57 though in Pittsburgh. So a bit of a temperature disparity, but that cold front hasn't made it here yet. This is just how the temperatures are playing out this morning. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking to be right about 59 degrees at 7. Mostly clear skies, southwest breeze 10 to 15, gusting upwards of 25. We're even seeing some gusts now up to about 30. By the time that bus brings them home this afternoon, 81 degrees. Southwest breeze 20 to 30, gusting to 45. We could even see gusts up to 50. So we do have red flag warnings, wind advisories across the entire area. So absolutely no outdoor burning, no grilling. Even though it's a beautiful day, don't do that. Don't throw your cigarette out the window. Just be safe. We're going to be mostly cloudy for most of the day, breezy into the upper 70s, low 80s for highs. And then later this evening, that cold front starts to roll in. And that'll bring a few showers out there, isolated to widely scattered at best. And then it's going to bring much colder temperatures. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Now to today's top stories. The city of Joplin wants to remind customers of the city wastewater service that failure to pay sewer charges can result in water service being shut off. Missouri American Water Company's disconnection and reconnection fee is $188. Joplin encourages customers to call the city if they're unable to pay their sewer bill because of unforeseen circumstances. You can find more information on this on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Pitt State yesterday handed out a first-of-its-kind degree from a university in Kansas. More than 1,000 students received an Associates of Arts degree in General Studies. Students with the degree will receive an honor cord for commencement when they finish their bachelor's degree. Later this spring, the university will award the degree to former students who stopped short of a bachelor's degree but met the associate's requirements. Fort Scott High School yesterday hosted its Academic Technology and Fine Arts Showcase. Community members were invited out to the event to check out what the students have been working on. Projects included academic displays, demos, art exhibits, digital creations, shop class tours, and a whole lot more.
I hope the community sees how much our students are capable of, because we have some amazing students here. As we look forward to creating a technical school in this area, I hope that they can see that this technical school will really serve our students well.
There were also musical performances from the school's jazz band, chamber orchestra, and choir. Well, how long does it take to solve a Rubik's Cube? Well, if you're 11-year-old Taryn Nelson from Jennings, Missouri, takes less than 2 minutes. This fifth grader is known at his elementary school as the Rubik's Cube Kid. That's because he can get all 6 sides of the cube to display a single color in as fast as 43 seconds. The classic 3D puzzle has stumped countless adults for decades, but not Taryn.
Oh, what it do for me? It keeps me distracted. You don't have to be smart to solve a Rubik's Cube. All you need to know is the algorithms.
In case you're wondering, the world record for the quickest time solving a Rubik's Cube is 3.13 seconds. I've never solved one of those, nor do I have any intention to anytime in the future. Makes a great desk decoration, though. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Violence breaks out during a farmers' protest near the European Union in Belgium. We'll have the details. Plus, Israel accelerates preparations for expanding its ground operation in Gaza. We'll have the latest on that. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
KOAM and the law offices of Aaron Sachs and Associates, committed to community service.
Topping World Watch this morning, spring break is right around the corner. If your destination is Mexico, the U.S. State Department wants you to keep these travel and safety tips in mind. The U.S. Embassy and consulates in Mexico is cautioning Americans to maintain a high level of situational awareness while visiting the country. The agency cites crime, drugs, and unregulated alcohol for the increased caution. Agency says those on their spring break getaway should always be aware of their surroundings, especially when visiting popular areas including Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum at night. Agency is recommending to regularly monitor your credit or debit card, stay in groups when out in clubs and bars, and to buy travel insurance that covers you in Mexico. And a massive cigar festival kicking off in Cuba yesterday. The week-long festival beginning in Havana, gathering cigar connoisseurs from across the globe to sample and celebrate the country's most famous export. The festival resuming last year after being closed due to the COVID pandemic. Attendees at the festival traveling to tobacco plantations and also visiting cigar factories. An auction of cigars that has gathered thousands of dollars in the past years is also on the agenda, and the festival runs until Friday. Violence breaking out during a farmers' protest near the European Union in Belgium. Police say about 900 tractors took over the streets of Brussels Monday, with many closing in on the European Council building, where agricultural ministers were meeting to discuss the crisis. Police in riot gear used water cannons to push back demonstrators who set tires on fire, tossed bottles, and allegedly sprayed officers with liquid manure. Farmers protesting across Europe claim they're being denied fair revenue due to free trade agreements and deregulation. They want the EU to take immediate action. Police in Grenada say they believe a retired couple from Virginia who had taken a trip around the Caribbean in their catamaran had their boat hijacked by escaped prisoners and were thrown overboard. The announcement came as a blow to those searching for 66-year-old Ralph Hendry and 71-year-old Kathy Brandel in the hopes they were still alive. Officials with the Royal Granada Police Force say 3 prisoners escaped on February 18th from the South St. George Police Station. It says they hijacked the catamaran named Simplicity the next day and headed to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where they were arrested last Wednesday. The couple's sons say their parents' boat had been ransacked and there were signs of a struggle when it was located. The nonprofit group Salty Dog Sailing Association says Hendry and Brandel were veteran cruisers and described the two as warm-hearted and capable. It says the couple had been spending the winter on the Simplicity, making their way around the Eastern Caribbean. Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority says his government is resigning. This comes as Israel accelerates preparations for expanding its ground operations in Gaza. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin has the latest from Tel Aviv.
Israel's war cabinet is reviewing a plan to evacuate more than 1 million Palestinian refugees from Rafah, the southernmost town in the Gaza Strip. Despite international pressure and fears of mass civilian casualties, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says an offensive into Rafah is needed to defeat Hamas.
We'll go in, we make our own decisions, obviously, but we'll go in based on the idea of having also the evacuation of the civilians.
A temporary ceasefire is a possibility. An international delegation is in Doha, Qatar, working on a plan to swap Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners combined with a temporary ceasefire. In light of a potential breakthrough, the Israeli Army's Chief of General Staff credited the soldiers.
The combat effort is the most effective action that helps those who deal and give in various places on the release of the hostages. It's the leverage that we are applying, and you are applying it excellently.
Israel released video of a strike in Lebanon, which the IDF says is the assassination of a Hezbollah commander responsible for anti-tank rockets fired into the north of Israel. As tensions with Hezbollah edge closer to war, Hezbollah shot down an Israeli drone and Israeli fighter jets struck targets in Baalbek, 60 miles north of the border, the deepest strikes into Lebanon since the 2006 war. With evacuated towns in Israel's north sitting vacant for 4 months due to the rocket fire, Netanyahu vows to return people to their homes.
If this can be achieved diplomatically, fine. If not, it'll be achieved militarily.
The resignations of the Palestinian Prime Minister and his government come as the U.S. and other nations pressure the Palestinian Authority to reform and come up with a more effective governing body for the post-war era.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We will be right back after this.
Kansas Crossing Casino brings you the ultimate entertainment store.
Kitchens, baths, and floors and more. Home Outlet is your home store.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5:45. It is a Tuesday morning, and it is a breezy and quite mild for most of us Tuesday morning. Here's a look at our camera on the Cornell Complex. You can see the flags on City Hall blowing, and just the way the camera perceives light, especially at night, it looks as though the buildings are experiencing an earthquake, but the camera itself isn't moving. But I assure you, it's just the wind blowing that thing. Moonlight camera, 32nd and range line, looking back to the west, looking pretty good this morning as well. As we mentioned, these cameras, as long as they're zoomed out like this, they're not as prone to the wind because they're fastened to the traffic signal poles. And those things are pretty sturdy. So if this camera starts to shake, that's how you know it's really windy. Same with the KDOT cameras as well. The poles that they're mounted on are pretty darn sturdy. It takes a good force wind in order to get these things to shake. And right now they're pretty steady, but we could see that change a little later as we go through the day. Red flag warnings everywhere. Parts of Kansas, Missouri, until 9, everyone else until 8 tonight. Absolutely no outdoor burning. Do not go out and grill. Do not do anything that involves flame outside. Do not throw your cigarette outside the window while you're driving. Don't do any of those things. It is very dry. It is very windy. You could cause a very serious situation out there. Wind advisories as well. Again, here in Missouri until 9 tonight. Everyone else until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, where you could see wind gusts 40, 45 miles an hour. And out west, we could even see some of those wind gusts pushing 50 miles an hour today out of the southwest. So here's a look at those wind gusts as we head into the afternoon. They are going to pick up. Here's that front Now, usually along a front, we typically get calmer winds back behind it. Not the case with this one. The winds are going to shift out of the north back behind it and still be gusting upwards of 30, 40 miles an hour out there. And it will continue to be breezy, except this time now out of the north once that front rolls through. As we go into the first half of our Wednesday, it won't be until about mid-afternoon, early afternoon that those winds will finally calm down. But the other problem is, as our temperatures drop about 50 degrees, we're going to have some very cold wind chills, teens, 20s, 30s as we head into our Wednesday as well. Today, mostly cloudy skies, but like we're experiencing now and we experienced a little bit yesterday, we'll have those pockets of sunshine out there. But again, we'll see more clouds than sun. And then here's that frontal boundary. You can see where those wind arrows start shifting here. And we could see a stray shower or two out there. Not expecting any thunderstorm activity, though a rumble of thunder may be possible. Otherwise, just isolated to widely scattered showers as that front continues to push on through. Temperatures will begin to drop behind that with that northerly wind, and as they fall, some of that precipitation could actually turn into some light snow showers. We're not expecting much, if anything, in terms of accumulations from it, but don't be surprised if you see a few flurries as we head into tomorrow morning. In Joplin right now, clear skies, 69, southwest breeze at 16, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, we do have a little cooler off to the north. Iola, for example, at 49, but the further south you go, we start going 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. 70s in February at 5:48 in the morning. That's how unusually warm it is. We should be, not that we're complaining, mind you, we should be in the 20s and 30s right now. We're nowhere near that. Temperatures, low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Mostly cloudy, breezy out there. Highs today, upper 70s, low 80s. In fact, a lot more low 80s today out there. So a very unseasonably warm day because our highs should be in the 50s right now. Then we'll see that front roll through. Now, again, the front will roll through at different times for everyone. So some of you may see the 40s a little earlier. These are post-frontal temperature or prefrontal temperatures, and eventually all of us falling back into the upper 20s and low 30s. A few showers, and then we could see some rain, snow mix, maybe a little light snow shower here or there as we head into very early Wednesday morning. Much colder. In fact, now we're below average as we go into Wednesday, low 40s. Thursday, we're average. That's the most average day we've got. Low 50s out there and maybe a stray shower or two in the evening. Back into the upper 70s, getting close to 80 by Sunday. Then we're watching another system with some rain and thunderstorm chances. And it's going to drop our temperatures again, but not as significantly as this one will. And we'll be back into the upper 50s and low 60s heading into next week. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this. Well, Des Moines, Iowa is known among rock fans as home of the heavy metal band Slipknot, but neighboring West Des Moines just did something even louder. Feely Jacobson has the story.
The live music venue's first day open to the public started off with a bang.
Today I'm trying the most amps simultaneously, which we've got 81 hooked up right now.
Local musician John Locker pulled out all the stops, playing through 81 amplifiers on his guitar at once for 5 minutes straight. He's now a Guinness World Record holder, beating the previous record of 50 amps at once. He's also the first artist to have tested out the acoustics of the newly renovated concert hall.
Doing this at Val Air, this is the place I wanted to do it.
Hundreds of people were there to watch it all play out and to celebrate a new era for Val Air Ballroom.
1, 2, 3!
It's exhilarating, really, it is.
You just look around and the whole community has come out for this, so that says something in and of itself.
Sunday's sneak peek struck a chord with music goers of all generations. Inside, people enjoyed the sights and sounds of the newly renovated space.
It was wonderful to walk in and hear the live music.
Outside, a blast from the past. Vintage cars filled the parking lot of the music venue as a sense of nostalgia rang throughout the crowd.
The last time I came here was probably like 2007, and I was looking up pictures and all my friends were in here, and I was like, it almost feels like it's no time has passed.
It's clear this new chapter for the quintessential Val Air Ballroom is starting off on the right note.
Well, now that it's been properly broken in, the ballroom is ready to host a calendar of concerts. The first is scheduled for Thursday. We'll be right back.
This is Scott with Windows for Less. With springtime in mind, so is spring cleaning. With our double hung windows, tilt-in features, it makes cleaning
that automobile, eyes on the road, hands on the wheel.
Wildlife experts are telling people to be very vigilant for dens this upcoming spring. North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission posting this video of a black bear squeezing out of the vent of a home, with a reminder for people to remain calm and leave the area quietly if they witness something like this in the coming weeks. Commission did not say where or when the video was taken, but according to researchers, it is not uncommon for bears to set up a den in piles of brush, hollowed out trees, or even in crawl spaces or under decks. We had a story like this not long ago of that lady who found the bear in her crawl space. Yeah. Well, the month of love is coming to its end with the delicious heart-shaped sweetness of strawberries. That's because February 27th is National Strawberry Day. This sweet fruit grows all around the world, almost year-round. Ancient Romans believed strawberries had medicinal purposes. They prescribed them for several ailments, including sore throats, fever, and even depression. Today, we know that strawberries contain important nutrients we need, like vitamin C, folic acid, potassium, and fiber. And despite their name, strawberries are actually part of the rose family, which might explain their fragrant scent and bright color. So go out there and enjoy National Strawberry Day by grabbing a pint of strawberries, or perhaps even two. And today is a perfect strawberry day out there. Plus, you don't have to grill them. And that's not advisable. Red flag warnings, wind advisories across the area today. No grilling, no outdoor burning, no throwing your cigarette out the window, none of that stuff, because we do not want to risk any significant grass fires. We're going to be mostly cloudy, winds gusting out of the southwest 40-45 miles an hour, and we're going to go right about 72 by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of highs in the upper 70s and a lot more lower 80s out there today. We'll have some peaks of sun here and there, but again, mostly cloudy just means we're going to see more clouds than sunshine as we head through the day. Then that cold front runs in. Now, again, some of you, that front will run through a little earlier this evening, so your temperatures will fall a little earlier than this, but this is approximate. And we'll see some showers. No thunderstorms expected, but a rumble of thunder or two may be possible. I mean, no severe weather expected. And we could even see some light snow showers. No accumulations expected, but could see some light snow. And take a look at that. About a 50-degree drop in temperatures overnight tonight into the upper 20s and low 30s. About 10 degrees or so below average tomorrow, low 40s. And then we're back to normal for one day. Thursday, low 50s, and we'll start to warm up again by the weekend, upper 70s with some storms Sunday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Rely on our years of experience at